I want to bring in Andrew Bolt. Andrew, I want to ask you this question as we look at this number tonight. How do you go with a political party that had such an emphatic win in its position and its opposition to The Voice to a rout of the sort we're seeing tonight?
It's astonishing when you think that, in 4 months it managed to go from what was the primary vote, about 38%, some say even higher at one stage, to what is it now, 30%? I mean, that's disastrous. And I suspect that a lot of that, it just finally collapsed the last 2 weeks, I think probably went really badly very fast. We're talking a lot about Peter Dutton, and personally I like Peter Dutton, don't know him that well, I've only met him a few times, but nice guy, all that. But it's not who you are face to face, it's what you present. And people thought he was scary. I think Tanya Plibersek probably did it deliberately, likening him to Voldemort. His looks were unfortunate. That stuck. People, scary guy. And when he then tried, it's a bit like Bill Shorten trying to be, I'm not the union tough guy, I'm going to talk really nicely and kindly and sweetly. People didn't buy it. It wasn't really him. Made worse by the fact that he couldn't talk about defence for weeks, which would have been a natural fit. But we're talking all about the failures of the Liberals. We've got to look on the other hand. You had Anthony Albanese. Sure, he lied his way to a win. I got that. His policies will be rubbish. I think the Liberal Party will have, the Labor Party is going to have a real big challenge in front of it, restoring the economy to some health, but all that. But in these troubled times, Anthony Albanese had what Peter Dutton did not, and that is an ease with people. You saw it on the election campaign, all through it. He wasn't fazed. He's good for a laugh, good for a beer. He's even contacted me. Would you believe I'm one of his hardest critics? I would get texts and calls from him. I mean, seriously, this is a nice guy to many people. And in these times, that's what they wanted, as opposed to a scary guy. I know that's a superficial reading, but I tell you what, it counts for a lot. You got to have a guy or a woman that looks like a leader and that is reassuring in these times. And I have no idea who the Liberals will turn to for that.
Yeah, Andrew, it's interesting you make that point, because there is a comparison to make here, and just as you give us your final thoughts on what you can reflect on this if you like, or make some other thoughts in relation to this result. But when you said that, it reminds me of John Howard, where he would engage with everyone, critics, those that loved him, loathed him. He would engage with everyone in the media. I think you can say a similar thing about this Prime Minister, Andrew.
Well, I think you can. I mean, I don't know what it's like in private, but again, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, I met him a number of times. Obviously, he came on my show years back when he was happy to show that Bill Shorten couldn't tell him what to do and what programs he went on. So he was always like that. But he presents as a nice, easygoing guy. And in a way, it's weird. You think, how could it possibly be that a government that left Australians poorer, more divided, more uncertain, weaker militarily, promising a decade of deficits to come, how could that possibly have been re-elected? And not only was re-elected, with a swing towards it. I mean, it's astonishing. Well, it did it because Anthony Albanese didn't look threatening, and for all the damage he did, he said, it's not my fault, and I've got a Band-Aid for it. A handout here, a handout there, another handout there. Even a handout to some of the most privileged people in our society. Students, 20% off your debt. That was a big one at the end. 20% off your student debt. These are privileged people. And I think that's helped him enormously. But like I said, it will leave the Labor Party without a plan to restore the economy that is needed to actually pay for all this. And that is going to be massive. Will Labor, in fact, have to deliver the cuts to the public service that it excoriated when the Liberals proposed them?